Whenever I hear myself being called Richard, I think of my mom yelling at me. But thank you. You can call me Rich, it's fine. Today we're going to talk about Practical Guide to Flexibility, which when my wife actually asked me what I was going to talk about, and I said this topic, she said, you couldn't even do that yoga class. How are you talking flexibility? But this is going to be more on how, obviously, digital transformation is here, and to really optimize an airline to really set yourself in a great position post-COVID, and there will be post-COVID, to really optimize your revenues and give your customers that seamless journey that they want. A quick background on myself. I've been in this industry now 27 years. I worked at an airline for 23 years, overseeing revenue accounting, passenger and cargo, interline settlements. I was on the Airline Clearinghouse Board of Directors. I was on different distribution committees. And in 2016, I decided to go to the supplier side, which a lot of my airline friends would say the dark side. But I wanted to work just not with a few airlines, but work with airlines all over the world and see if I can help them. And I'm not a sales guy. I'm on the partnership team. My goal at Riskified is to work with the airlines, work with airline platforms, try to make things as easy as possible for them. So today, let's talk about flexibility. Obviously, the industry's had a lot of problems during COVID. There's been the hardcore decrease in travel. In the United States, obviously, travel picked up in the summer, but then slowed down in August because of the Delta variant. But I can tell you, when I've flown down in Florida, the flights are full. Load factors are full. My last two international trips, one before here and this one, were fairly full too. So demand is really huge. And as most countries get more and more vaccinations, more people will travel. And so you really need to be prepared, even in whatever part of the world you operate in. Travel demand will come as more vaccinations happen, so you have to be ready for it. There's obviously been a lot of travel restrictions eased, thankfully. The United States finally opened up the borders. That'll be coming soon, and so most people that are vaccinated can travel to the US for non-essential travel. But other countries are also happening to lessen it too, because I was in London a month ago. I had to take a test to go there. Now when I go next time, I don't need to take a test going there, as of now. And obviously there's been heavy losses. It's been a slow recovery. But like I mentioned, it will get better. And obviously airlines face tons of challenges. Customer friction is huge. With COVID, you have an influx of first-time online shoppers, or just everyone's now online. Everyone goes on the app, they go on their laptop, your websites. They want that easy, seamless shopping journey, just like if they go on Amazon or another major e-commerce company. The key is to make sure that you as the airline are protected, but your customers are protected too. Because as like the previous panel said, people they check their statement. They see they got their bonus points for takeout food or grocery shopping, but they don't go and check to see if their points have actually been stolen or transferred or used to buy AirPod Pros or whatever. So you really need to find that perfect balance. So it's key to use a fraud management tool that has artificial intelligence that's scalable and can adapt on a dime to all the real world trends. Account takeovers is huge right now. In 2021, I believe we saw, out of our data, 1 out of every 140 login attempts was an ATO attack attempt. And obviously, it's more sophisticated fraud. It's much more lucrative. I mean, there's billions and billions of dollars there. I mean, fraudsters see where the money is at. They know airlines are going to be maybe a little less cautious because they don't want to keep declining passengers because they need that cash flow. So fraudsters are keeping an eye on that. Overhead costs continue to rise all the time. I mean, staffing, and if you have manual review teams, you're paying for that. So look at leveraging automation and maybe better utilizing your staff where right now customer care is desperately needed. If you call many airlines right now, unfortunately the hold times are hours. And even if you try via SMS, it can be hours. So try to maybe utilize those staffing better for you to give those customers the attention they really want and faster attention. Payment declines. Payment declines are gigantic because you could potentially be falsely declining good legitimate customers. Our data has shown anywhere from 30 to 70% of declined passengers are truly good legit customers that their revenue should have been recouped. If you lose that, they're going to go to your competitor. If you had too much friction, they go to your competitor. This industry is already very competitive, so you have to make sure that you really set yourself up to make sure you take those passengers and you accept it. And chargebacks. Chargebacks obviously are brutal. When I worked at an airline, my department oversaw chargebacks. I did all that manual processing, and I would not want to do that again. Look to leverage automation. There's lots of vendors here that do such things. You want to make sure that you also can work with a company that maybe can automate it for you. Maybe they take the chargeback liability shift, like Riskified, we do. If we approve an order, we take that chargeback liability shift, and that includes friendly fraud, which is on the increase. People like to buy that non-refundable ticket because it's cheap, but then they see a flash sale on another carrier, they file a chargeback with you, they're trying to get their money back, they work the system, they see it in a Reddit forum, wherever, and they really try to just work the system. So try to make sure you're protected, and we'll partner with the company that's best suited for you. And obviously, in the past year, we've seen a lot of OTAs and airline executives talk about the case for flexibility and how digital transformation is now more important than ever before. It's a digital age, and those who are ready for it and take the plunge have a better chance for success moving forward. Why Riskified? We've pretty much been able to increase revenue up to 20%. While reducing operating costs over 60%. It's fully automated, scalable solution, and it gives you that way to maybe operate in different parts of the world that you had a fear of fraud. You don't have to worry about it anymore. We have that liability shift, so you can look at your revenue management teams and your planning teams can look around the world and say what leisure markets really are underdeveloped, and where can we really get some revenue generated. And it's a seamless customer experience. There's no friction. You're not getting a lot of pop-ups, filling out a lot of different CAPTCHA forms, anything like that. There's no friction at all. It's seamless. And here's a case study with our partner Air Europa. Before us, they were using a manual review system. Manual review systems are very labor-intensive, and they need a lot of updates. They were getting in the chargeback program, and by doing that, then they said, well, we need to tighten our rules. But by tightening the rules, they actually lowered their approval rate, and they declined a lot of people that were good, legit customers. So they came to us to try to find a better way. And with us, we were able to improve their approval rate 12% and take all the chargeback liability, plus lower the chargeback, I think it's like 0.01. And so by having a much lower chargeback rate too, you can really engage with your acquirers and try to find maybe a lower negotiated rate. And with automation, definitely, like I mentioned, you want to grow revenue. Obviously, cash flow is really important right now. You need those loyalty accounts secured as possible, as the previous panel mentioned. There's billions of dollars there. You have to make sure those loyalty accounts stay safe, because loyalty, you want to drive revenue from loyalty, and you want to keep your loyal customers back to you. Obviously, customer friction. It's the day now is where people want an easy shopping experience. They don't want a lot of friction. A lot of friction brings cart abandonment, and they're just going to leave you and go to maybe check an OTA, check another website and see what they can find for the route they're looking for. I already mentioned about shift liability, and obviously reduce operating costs. Obviously, airlines can really leverage technology to reduce operating costs, improve their bottom line, and set themselves up for the future. And accept more payments. And this one, 2 weeks ago, we had our Merchant Summit in New York City. It was my first time in the office since February 21st of 2020. And we had Amin from IATA there, where we're the actual fraud prevention company on the International Financial Gateway. And he mentioned how every airline has to think that they're a global carrier. No matter where you operate in the world, you want to be able to accept as many payments as possible, because that way you're going to drive loyalty, you're going to increase revenue, and you don't limit yourself. People like different types of payment all throughout the world. China, a lot of people use WeChat. A lot of people in the US still credit cards. But Apple Pay, Google Pay, and also it's generational. My mom still writes a check for her cable every month. I've tried to have it auto set. It's not working. And she's a retired lawyer, so I know I'm not winning that battle. But try to accept as many different forms of payment as possible. You open yourself to a lot more opportunities and to give yourself in a much better standing. Any questions? I spoke quickly because I know the reception's coming up. And I know Shane has to talk too. If not, we're booth 20. We're here. I'm here till Friday. My team's here, I think, till Thursday at least. Stop by, say hi. We have socks to give out, other things. Thank you very much.